I literally just came down here with nothing. I left my iPad, I left my tea, I left my phone. Is this an indication of how the month of June is going to be? I hope not. I really hope not. All right, let me get my you-know-what together and try again. Now we're on to something. We could officially do this video now that we have a sip of tea. Also, I was out of milk this morning, so I made my English breakfast tea with honey, and I did heavy cream instead of milk. Why is it kind of delicious? It's much creamier, obviously. Wow. Breaking news. Heavy cream is creamy. But it's like, I don't know, it's like a good little change. Obviously not for every day. I think that would be a bit too much for me, but it's good for today. It's hitting the spot. So, all right, enough of the tea business. Let me grab my iPad and let's talk about our reading for June. Actually, we can't talk about our reading for June before talking about how our reading went in May. So yeah, let's go over all of the above. So before I show my progress for my May TBR's reading, I want to go ahead and give you guys the caveat that I did have a obviously unpredictable injury to my eye in May. We're not going to get into it, but I did injure my eye in the most idiotic way possible. And that kind of made reading impossible for about 10 days to 2 weeks. My eye was super red. It was super bloodshot. I had actually blood pooling behind my eye, and it caused almost like a constant migraine headache because it was throbbing behind my eye, and focusing on books was just not going to happen. But that hampered me in a way, but it also was a good thing because when my eye healed, I was so deprived of reading for 2 weeks that when I came back and I was feeling good, all I did was want to binge read books. So by some miracle, here's the progress I made on my May TBR. I mean, it's not great, but it's not horrible. I still read 4 out of the, I think, 11 books from specifically my TBR, but more importantly, I read a total of 8 books in May. So I read these 4 that were on my TBR and then 4 that were just random for challenges, like Amanda picked my reads and all that good stuff. So I read a total of 8 books, which is average. I read between 6 and 8 books a month. So when I got back from my injury, all I wanted to do was consume books. So I somehow still pulled out 8 books, which is amazing. When I was looking at this to film this video, I was like, did I really do that? But it makes a lot of sense because all I wanted to do was dive right back into my fantasy worlds of books. So yeah, I did read 4 out of the 11, and I'm not going to hate on myself for that this month because reading without an eye proved very difficult. So because I read 8 books, we are going to do 8 spins plus our 4 wild spins at the end for a total of 12 spins this month. And I am really hoping that June is just as productive of a month as May as far as reading because we are very busy. Our summer starts here in Connecticut in June, as in like the kids being off of school. And one would think that that would mean my schedule would calm down, but it doesn't because between my 2 boys, we play on between 3 and 4 travel leagues at a time. Not like 4 for the year. I'm talking about like 4 per season, and they're all travel leagues. And when I say travel league, it's not just within Connecticut. Like I'm spending weekends in Long Island, Rehoboth, Massachusetts. I think we might even go to Jersey and Philadelphia to play in tournaments. So like we are constantly on the run. This week we play 7 days. We actually played, today is Monday, we played 3 games yesterday in 2 different towns. So it is an insanely busy schedule. I'm reading on the go a lot. I'm reading on the run a lot. So I'm hoping that we can pick some books that I will stay motivated to read, but also that I can kind of take with me and read as we're traveling and going. So 12 spins will give us a ton of options. Now let me grab my iPad, which I actually have sitting right here in front of me because I didn't come prepared at first, but now I am in true Lindsay fashion, and we will throw our wheel up on the screen. Here she is, our handy dandy wheel. No pertinent changes are being made to the wheel this month. I honestly didn't purchase any books, any physical books this month. I'm always checking my Kindle daily specials, so I'm buying like $1.99 books, like $2.99 books every day, sometimes even completely free books. But as far as my physical shelves, because of my eye injury, I wasn't really going anywhere. It just hurt, like the light hurt too much, so I wasn't purchasing a ton of things or going to a ton of stores. So there hasn't really been any changes to my shelves this month. I think this is the first month in 2 years of playing this game that there hasn't been major changes to my shelves, which is insane. A little bit of uniformity is kind of a nice, refreshing change though. So this is going to be our wheel. Let's go ahead and randomize her. See what she looks like this month. Oh, wow. Okay, it's a little clumpy. Like on that left and right side, there's a bunch of shelves in a row, but for the most part, I think we're pretty spread out this month. Last month was very clumped. Like there were large sections of wilds and large sections of shelves, so I wasn't really sure what we were going to get, but this is very spread out, I think. Maybe a little clumpy, but all right, let's do spin number 1. I could go for like a ton of smutty reads this month. Shelf 19. Okay, that is in the other room. Let me move the camera. Okay, here we are at shelf number 19. Sorry, we're a little squishy here in this corner, but we're making it work. And like I've said in the last couple of videos, my brother-in-law is actually living with us for a little while, and this is my guest room that he is staying in. So I'm sorry we're a little zoomed in, but I'm trying to like maintain his privacy as much as possible. But here we are at shelf number 19. There are 25 books on the shelves, and this is fantasy. Now, like I said, I am feeling kind of smutty fantasy right now, and there's not too much smut on the shelf right now, so we will see what it gives me, but there are 25 books, so hey Siri. Hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
Pick a number between 1 and 25.
A random number between 1 and 25 is 24.
24. Okay, so we're going to go all the way to the other end. Here is 25, 24. That is The Witch Collector by Charissa Weeks. I am pleased with this. I am excited. Rachel from The Raven-Haired Reader loves this series. I think she's on the 2nd or 3rd book right now, but she had nothing but great things to say about this. So we are definitely not using a veto on this one. I'm excited for this. I really don't know much of what it's about though. Every harvest moon, the witch collector rides into our valley. Okay, we'll talk about that after, but I realized I don't really know much about this. Off to an excellent start. I'm definitely not mad at that. I have wanted to get into that series for a while. I don't know if it's spicy though. I know it's adult, but I don't know if it's spicy. So I guess we'll have to find out, but let's do spin number 2. What are we gonna be? I always get so nervous. Why do I get nervous? Author, last name. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't been here before, we have to go to our author, first and last wheel right here. This just has all 26 letters of the alphabet on it, and we have to spin it and pick a book with the author, in this case, last name, who begins with that number. Number, letter. It's already been a day. Okay, so let's randomize it and spin. These are sometimes so difficult. Last month, I actually couldn't come up with one, so I had to respin. Author, last name, E. Author, last name, E. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any. Okay, that's a problem for later. So let's go on to spin number 3 because we always do our wild spiels. What is happening? We always do our wild spins at the end. Jeez. Okay. Spin number 3, and hopefully I relearn how to speak English at some point while filming this video. I almost said letter. From eye injury to brain injury, apparently. So spin number 3. God. I cannot explain to you guys how tired I am this morning after 3 games yesterday. Shelf 13. That is in the other room. And get your earplugs ready because it is crazy angle time. It's crazy angle time. Doop doop doop. This is my guest bed. This is a crazy angle. It is what it is. There's nothing we can do about it. It's always those bottom shelves that give me the hardest time. So this is a fantasy shelf, and this one has a good number of series on it. So it has all of my Shelby Mahurin. It has my Emily McIntyre. It has all of my Leigh Bardugos. So maybe we will be continuing with the series today. Full disclosure, if I had to pick something on the shelf, I'm really hoping we get somewhere here in this Emily McIntyre range, because that is like smutty, dark romance fantasy vibes, like fairy tale, refractured fairy tale retellings. So there are 23 books on this shelf. So, hey Siri. Hey Siri.
Uh-huh.
Pick a number between 1 and 23.
A random number between 1 and 23 is 17.
17 is not looking good for Emily McIntyre, but let's see. There are some books up here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We missed the Emily McIntyre. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Okay, so 17 is Siege and Storm, which is book 2 in the Shadow and Bone series, which I obviously haven't read. So we are going to put Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo on this month's TBR. Am I super excited for this? I'm not. I honestly am going to choose to read the Shadow and Bone series to get to Six of Crows. However, this I believe is on my 25 and 25 list, and I am going to eventually get to it. And while I'm looking at it, this is a little YA fantasy with absolutely gigantic writing. So I am not going to use a veto because I'm hoping I can fly through this. And then maybe after, I could watch the TV show. So not using a veto, this is going on our TBR. Gotta be honest, I'm not mad about Shadow and Bone either. Is it like something that I would 100% prioritize? It isn't, but at the same time, I have to get through it. And it would knock a book off of my 25 and 25 list because I'll have to double check, but I'm almost sure I left it on there. So, okay, we are on spin number 4. Let's get a wild. Let's get a wild and something I could like throw a spicy book on. Oh, stay. Our 25 and 25 list. Well, that's convenient. Okay, so for anyone who hasn't been here before, I do a video every single year where I pick 25 books I want to read in 2025. Last year I did 24 and 24. Next year I'll do 26 and 26, as crazy as that is to think about. And I just try. It's not like, don't hold me to it, but I just try to get to those books. Those are the books I'd like to prioritize. And these are the books that I still have left to read on my current 25 and 25 list. So, like I said, I'm almost positive Shadow and Bone is on here. I can't see it off of the top of my, I can't see it right now, but I'm pretty sure it's one of the options. So in the off chance that that comes up in our spin, we'll just spin again because that's already on there. But let's randomize it and give it a spin. There is some stuff that I'm so excited to read on here. What is it? Oh my God. Bear Down. I am so excited to read this book, but also so intimidated that's going to make me cry. Let me go and grab it. This is the infamous Beartown by Frederick Bachman. This has been taking Bookstagram by storm and BookTube by storm. Lately, I've seen so many people reading this series. Is it something that I would have picked for June? No, because it's about ice hockey, and obviously, like you could tell by the cover, I'm pretty sure I'm making the assumption it's set in the winter primarily. However, I think I can get past this because this book has changed so many people's lives. So we'll talk more about it at the end, but I am definitely not using a veto on Beartown. Spin number 5 incoming. Let's get another wild. I don't know why the wilds like do it for me. Okay. Shelf number 20. That is in the other room. I'm almost positive it's another fantasy shelf. We are fantasy heavy so far. I feel mean because I didn't even give you a warning to put on your earplugs, but crazy angle time. It's crazy angle time number 2. So you have no idea. I just had to pull my nightstand out. My golden snitch lamp is randomly now in the corner because I don't feel like unplugging it. This is the craziest of crazy angles. This crazy angle took preparation, but it will all hopefully be good because this fantasy shelf has a lot of great books on it and some of them spicy. So there are currently, 23 because I just added 2. So there's 23 books on this shelf. Hey Siri. Hey Siri, why are you being such a pain today?
Sorry, I don't understand.
We know. Hey Siri, pick a number between 1 and 23.
A random number between 1 and 23 is 4.
4. I'm trying not to freak out right now, but I think I might know what this is. 1, 2, 3, 4. I was right. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Number 4 is Zodiac Academy Cursed Fates. This is number 5 in the Zodiac Academy series, and I am not quite there yet. Oh my goodness. So we are going to put the book I am at, and that is Zodiac Academy The Reckoning, book 3 in the infamous Zodiac Academy series. And this is yet another book on my want to read list recently. So, oh my goodness. I am so excited. But what is it with these books that as you go on in this series, they just get progressively thicker? Like, what is the deal with that? That's so intimidating, but we are definitely not using a veto on The Reckoning. I have to be honest with you, I'm currently way too lazy to move the camera just to run back in here 3 seconds from now. So we are going to do spin number 6 right from here. Okay. I'm actually liking the mix we're getting so far. 9. Shelf 9 is right here. It's a Rome. Oh, I know what this is. An interesting shelf. Okay, let me move the camera. So here we are at shelf 9. So this is actually half romance and where it starts going into my fantasy down below. So this is kind of like a transitional shelf, and it does have Quicksilver on it, but you know what I'm eyeing. This little middle section right here. I want to get into Binding 13 so badly. So there are currently 25 books on the shelves. Let's see if Surrey is going to cooperate, because I've had to repeat myself every single time. So wait, let's see. Hey, Surrey. There you go. Pick a number between 1 and 25.
A random number between 1 and 25 is 7.
That's not Binding 13, but it is a romance. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, it's not. Well, I guess it is. Okay, so number 7 is actually Anatomy, a Love Story, which I believe... Is this number 2 or is this number 1? We're going to have to look this up. I just looked it up and confirmed this is number 1, and then Immortality is number 2. So we are going to not use a veto on this one. This is Anatomy, a Love Story. I don't know much about this, but I know that Rachel Catherine read this and really liked it. I think this is more of like a dark romance, but YA, which I'm a little confused about. But I heard it has kind of like a gothic, kind of morbid theme, and that makes me very intrigued. So we are going to keep this one. I am not using a ton of vetoes. Did I just jinx myself? Knock on wood. Right back in our spot. We are on spin number 7, I believe. What's it gonna be? Oh, stop. Stop. A KU spin. We don't get these very often. Okay, let me go grab my KU wheel. Here she is. Here is our KU library wheel. Now, these are all the books that are currently sitting in my KU library, and I have to be honest with you, some of these have been on there for so long that I do want to read them, but I honestly don't even remember what they are or what they're about. But I do know that if I added them to my Kindle library, there is a good chance that they're smutty, which means that this is kind of a curated list that I like, which makes me excited. So let's go ahead and randomize her and see what we're going to get. I don't know what's on here, but I know there's one that would actually save me a spin. So that's a little hint for later. So let's say The Coven. Oh my gosh, by Harper Woods. Let me go grab it. This is a prime example of having a problem. Are you ready for this? Here is The Coven by Harper L. Woods. Okay, this is the beautiful Barnes & Noble B format edition, but I also have the Fairy Loot edition of The Coven, which is absolutely gorgeous, and it is sitting in my KU library. Why, you ask, is it on my KU library if I own several copies of this book? Because sometimes I just prefer books on my Kindle, you know? I can't explain it. Fairy Loot sent me this one. I couldn't pass by a gorgeous Barnes & Noble edition, but this is realistically a book I've somehow labeled in my brain as a Kindle read, so despite owning 2 copies of it, this is on my KU library and will be added to this month's TBR because I've wanted to read this forever, in case you couldn't tell. Continuing on to spin number 8, this is our last spin before our 4 wild spins, so let's see what it's going to give us. It's been pretty nice to us so far. I am not mad at it. What's it going to be? 18. Oh, we yet again have to move the camera, but it is another fantasy shelf. Here we are at shelf number 18. So like I said, this is a fantasy shelf. What am I noticing about this shelf? Oh, a little bit of YA. Yeah, actually a good amount of YA. I'm actually not seeing much stuff that's super spicy. Okay. Okay, it could be worse. There are 26 books on this shelf. So, hey Siri. Hey Siri.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a number between 1 and 26. Oh, I don't know why she's not talking now. She said 23. So, 23. So here is 26, 25, 24, 22, 23. Oh, okay. This is the London Seance Society by Sarah Penner. So this book is actually by the same author as The Lost Apothecary, which I have right here. Actually, it's on the shelf right here. Okay. Hear me out. It's not that I don't want to read this book, and this book is actually a really gorgeous Barnes & Noble edition. It's not that I don't want to read this, but this is more like cozy feminist rage, I believe she does. Amid the shrouded parlors of Victorian London, two daring women hunt for truth and justice in the perilous art of conjuring the dead. I don't know if I'm in the mood for that this month. I think this might be our first veto. Not because I don't want to read it, but because I don't think that this is what I want to prioritize in June. I would prefer to read this like Halloween time, fall. So guess what? We are going to veto this and respin. Actually, let's give it a chance to pick another one on the shelf and then we'll respin. So let's try again. Hey Siri.
Mm-hmm.
Pick a number between 1 and 26.
A random number between 1 and 26 is 25.
Okay. All right. I give up. Number 25 is Illuminae, which is a sci-fi, and that is absolutely not happening. So let's regroup and respin. And also figure out why my Siri has gone hard of hearing today for no apparent reason. The furnace is on. Of course it is because I'm filming, but I'm on a little bit of a time crunch because I have to go get my oldest son from school and I want to get our spins out of the way. But sorry guys, I don't mean to cheat. I always allow myself like 1 or 2 vetoes a month if necessary. I'm not trying to cheat. It's just that I don't want to set myself up to fail. And the London Seance Society is just not a June book to me. That's more of like a spooky season fall book for some reason to me. And I know that I just won't want to read it. So it is what it is. We're going to make it work. So here is our wheel. Let's respin. Not shelf number 18. Let's see if we could get something better. Shelf 23. That is actually in my office, so we have to move the camera again. Here we are at shelf number 23. This is the shelf guarded by my little Ravenclaw Raven. I love this shelf. It is a special edition shelf. There are such a hodgepodge of genres on this. It does have my whole entire Fairy Loot Percy Jackson series, and fun fact, I've never read Percy Jackson. So there are 38 books on this shelf. Hey Siri. What is the deal with that? Why is she like, she can't hear me today? Hey Siri. Pick a number between 1 and 38.
A random number between 1 and 38 is 5.
5. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can either go up or I'm going to go here. 5. Oh boy. No. 5. Oh geez. Okay. I'm sorry. All right. We kind of got to pick which we wanted to pick, but we are going to go with The Wind Weaver. This was Fairy Loot Romantice's pick for this month, and I am so excited to read this, so this is definitely a much better option. And now really quickly, before we go and pick up Dylan, let's go ahead and really quickly do our 4 wild spins, and then we will come back and do the part of the video that always takes the longest, which is picking the actual books. So here is our wild wheel, and we are going to do 4 spins. Let's randomize it first. Here's spin number 1. 4. A Kindle spin. Okay, so that just means that we have to pull up our Kindle wheel, and this is like 80% of the books that are currently on my Kindle, which there's like 1,500 books on my Kindle. So I know it looks like a mess, but it is what it is. I'm trying to actually read them down. I haven't updated this wheel in like 2 months. So there are some newer ones, but that's okay because if they've been on there already, I want to prioritize it. So I did just randomize it. Let's go ahead and spin. You literally never know what's going to come up on this wheel. Running from the Prince. I have no idea what that is. We will decide whether we're vetoing at the end. So let's do our wild spin number 2. I'm trying to hurry this up. No. Oh, the wheel I love to hate. Okay, here we go with the nonsense that is our emoji spin. If you haven't seen this wheel, this is most of the emojis currently available on the Apple iPhone. I always spin it. It always gives me a nonsense one, and then I have to try to take that nonsense emoji and pair it to a book on my shelves, and it's always a mess. So let's randomize it and see what nonsense it picks for me today. Oh my God. I know it's going to be something nuts. What's it going to be? Oh! It lives to prove me wrong. Just a little happy face. Just a little happy face. That could be interpreted in so many ways. Oh my gosh. What is is June going to be the best month ever? I think it is. Okay. A little happy face. Spin number 3. I can't even believe that of all the emojis, that's the one that came up. A genre spin. Oh, guys. If you have been here the past couple of TBRs, you already know what I'm dreading. There is a slice on this wheel. It is the slice who must not be named. I'm not even going to mention it because if I mention it, it will come up. But it is the slice I don't want the most, and it has haunted me and come up in the last 3 TBR videos. So let's go ahead and randomize it, not speak it into existence, and spin. I think you'll know by my face if it comes up. Stop. Romance. It did not come up. Oh my gosh. Comment below if you are here every single month and know exactly what slice keeps coming up and haunting me. What is romance? I could do that. Oh my gosh. The question becomes, is romantasy a romance? I don't think so. I think it's fantasy. Romantasy is fantasy, right? I'm not going to cheat. Okay. Spin number 4. Okay. So far we have Running from the Prince, a smiley face, and a romance book. And a prompt spin. Wow, guys. This has been so... I shouldn't speak too early. I shouldn't. Okay. Here is our prompt wheel. This is the wheel that I personally made. I individually added every single prompt to this wheel, and there's about 400 to 500 of them, which is crazy. You can't even tell because there's so many on there. But let's randomize it, spin, and see what prompt I have to fulfill. Blurbed by an author of one of my 5-star books. So this means I have to pick a book, read the blurbs, and hope that a book I've given 5 stars, their author is blurbing it. Okay. I think I can do that. Let me go pick up Dylan. We'll pick when I get back. I'm officially back from picking up Dylan, but any of my Italian subscribers, subscribers from Italy, we have to have a chat. We have to have a legitimate chat because my boys and I and my family do the snack crate every single month where it's like a subscription service. And they send you a box full of snacks from a different country every single month. And I'm from the US, of course. And this month, the country was Italy. And let me tell you something right now. Italy has some banging snacks. There wasn't a single bad one in that entire box. Usually there's one snack that just isn't for us. We didn't love it. Italy's were all bangers, amazing snackies. But we have to talk about one in particular because this is life-changing for me. All my Italian subscribers, Sperlari Dino Mix sour dino gummies. Are these a thing that you could just walk into gas stations and buy? These are the greatest things I've ever had in my life. I'm now obsessed with these. I'm obsessed. They have 4 different flavors. They have apricot, strawberry, lemon, and raspberry. It's all in Italian, the packaging. But we looked it up. And the greatest thing about this is, fun Lindsay fact, I am allergic to red dye. I cannot have red dye. And here in the US, they pump our foods and our snacks full of dyes. And I'm allergic to red dye. So for me, I've never been able to have anything red. So fruit punch, strawberry candies, some watermelon stuff depending, cherry, raspberry, I avoid it because it has red dye in it and I'll get really sick. There are no artificial dyes. I'm assuming in Europe, but Italy, and in these. So it's such a treat for me that I can have a raspberry flavored item. I never get to eat raspberry stuff. I never do. And this one has raspberry. And let me tell you something. I hope you guys over in Italy understand how good you have it with, look at that's a raspberry one. How good you have it with these, because I'm now obsessed. Who can hook me up with some Dino Mix gummies? Because these are so good. I'm obsessed. Raspberry. Very chewy though. Really not a ladylike way to eat these, but man, are they good. Anyways, now that the kids have been picked up and the snacks have been had, let's talk about what we have to pick out from our wild spins and from our spins in general. So we have to pick a book with an author with the last name that begins with E. We have to find a book that could reference in some way or evoke the feeling of this particular little happy smiley face. That should be easy. I don't think I've ever had a month where I think the emoji spin is going to be easy. We have to pick a romance book from our genre spin, and we have to pick a book that is blurbed by a 5-star author. Okay. Also, I do want to look up the Kindle book, Running from the Prince, because I do not remember that one. So we may have to respin the Kindle wheel if I don't want to read that one. That might be my last video. So let's go ahead and start with our author last name E and get that one out of the way. I don't know why, but every single time I have to go and think off the top of my head about what I have on my Kindle and what I have on my shelves, there is not a brain cell amongst us. I can't think of anything. And then I actually get on my shelves and I get on my Kindle and I have 50 options, right? I have too many options. So that was the case here. I could not in my brain think of one author with the last name E. I could not think of one E last name at all. And then I got on my Kindle. I had 20 on my Kindle and I had another couple on my shelves. So I did find some options. Only one of the ones that I'm going to put on my little short list is physical. The rest are on my Kindle. So let's talk about this one first. So the first one I pulled is The Kiss Countdown by Etta Eason. This is the Afterlight, the Illumicrate Afterlight edition. I don't know if you can see that. Let me get my face out of the way so it doesn't zoom in on me. It is such a pretty edition. It has the pretty character art and the cute embossed cover. I don't know what this is about at all though. Okay, so it says a struggling event planner and a sinfully hot astronaut must decide if their fake relationship is worth a shot at happily ever after in this starry debut. Amari Price, a struggling event planner, and Vincent Rogers, a hot astronaut, must decide if there is worth a shot at happily ever after. Okay, that was just the same thing. Is this spicy? They like the romance, story quality, character development, pacing, writing quality, family-centered, emotional content. Okay, so I don't think it's super spicy. That's a fact. That's fine. I'm just trying to get a good gauge on what exactly this book is so I'm not disappointed. But I actually have heard really good things about this. I want to say Shaughnessy has read this. I'm pretty sure that's where I saw it. And then one other creator I saw review it and really liked it. And I know Etta Eason, I believe, has a couple other books that people have really loved. So I do want to get into her writing. Then on my Kindle, I could go for City of Gods and Monsters by Kayla Edwards. This has taken the internet by storm, of course. I've heard it paralleled to Crescent City, which I haven't read yet. It says a human woman must work with a feared dark-slaying circle to rescue her friend from supernatural bounty hunters in a city where humans are at the bottom of the food chain. I believe there is spice in this. It's a dystopian, I believe, fantasy romance. The only thing that's a little scary is this puppy is 762 pages. So that's a chunker. I could also do The Princess and the Pack by Fallon English. This is a KU Omegaverse spicy werewolf type of deal, I believe, from what I remember. I think I got this one day when it went up for sale for free, but it's intriguing. It says, from the day I was born, my future has been set in stone. Marry Crown Prince Killian, become his queen, and produce an heir. Though I could do far worse than marry a man known throughout the continent for his dashing good looks and kind heart, I have long harbored a secret wish for more. As an Omega, yearning to find a pack of alphas to satisfy my every desire is as natural as breathing. As a princess, however, such a dream is out of the question. My station dictates that I settle for one and only one alpha, so as to preserve our royal bloodlines. But fate seems to have plans for me that involve not only my betrothed, but also his two best friends. This right here and everything it is what is satisfying my brain right now. And last but not least, I could do The Measure by Nikki Erlich. I just received the audiobook and the e-arc for her new book, The Poppy Fields, and I did not realize this was the same author that did The Measure. So now I'm intrigued. It says, in a world where everyone receives a box revealing their lifespan, 8 ordinary people grapple with the profound choice of whether to open it. So I guess from what I've heard, in this book, you receive like a box on your doorstep, and when you open it, it just tells you like the date of your death. I don't know, and I guess you could decide whether to open the box or not. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but I've heard great things about her writing. However, this would put us in a more like literary fiction direction, because I think that's what this is. So do I need a lit fic this month is the question. So looking at my 4 options, doing our process of elimination, I think I'm going to eliminate the Kiss Countdown. I have enough like romance selections that I think I would prioritize another romance first. So I'm gonna eliminate that one. I'm also gonna eliminate The Measure. I don't think my brain can handle like an intense existential crisis, existential life question type of literary fiction this month. I am feeling all of the spicy romance and romantasy, so just not the right month. So we are between Cities of Gods and Monsters and The Princess and the Pack. Oh my God, what do I do? Okay. I think I'm going to satisfy Spicy Brain while also keeping it reasonable on the page length and put The Princess and the Pack as my author with the last name E. Next up, I guess let's do our genre pick. That one should be easy because I basically just get to like take my pick of romance. So let's go pick our romance for our genre spin. For my romance, I grabbed 3 physical and 1 Kindle book for 4 total options. And I think I want to use this as kind of an opportunity to make some progress in all the umpteen romance series that I'm in the middle of. So I want to pick one series and continue. So let's see what I grabbed. I grabbed The Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is book 3 in the Dreamland Billionaires series. I read the first 2 and really liked them a lot. There was Fine Print and Terms and Condition, and I really liked them. If you know absolutely nothing about these books, there's 3 brothers and their grandfather passes away and leaves them the legacy of his theme park. So it's essentially Disney World. They just can't say that. So they own a theme park destination. And this one follows Callahan, which is the 3rd brother. And it says he returns to Lake Wisteria to sell his grandfather's lake house, only to find his childhood best friend and lover, former love interest, Lana Castillo, living there and claiming ownership of the property. I have heard that this one is a favorite in the series, so I kind of read the other 2 in anticipation to getting to this one. I also grabbed Block Shot by Kennedy Ryan. If you did not watch my last video, which was when Amanda from Amanda's Booktopia picked my reads for a week, she selected Long Shot, which was book 1 in this series. I don't think I remember what the series name is called, but it doesn't really matter. The first book is called Long Shot. These are NBA romances, and I gave the first one a 4.5 stars. I really loved it. And I said in that video that I could not wait to continue. This is book 2, and it says it's about a sports agent and a successful woman in a male-dominated field have a tumultuous past, but their undeniable chemistry may lead to a second chance at love. So it's a second chance romance. All I know is that Kennedy Ryan's writing was so addictive. Next up, I grabbed Hot House Flower by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is book 5 in the Addicted Calloway series. These books have been a hit or a miss for me. I didn't love the first couple that followed Lo and Lauren, but then I randomly read Kiss the Sky, which was the last one in the series, like the one before this, and was shocked by how addicted I got to it, how amazing it was. So now I'm kind of intrigued and questioning whether I actually really like the series more than I thought, but this follows Daisy and Reich, and I know their story was touched upon in the second book, which was Ricochet, and it really icked me out because she is 16 and he's like in his 20s, at least in that book. I don't know if there's going to be like a time jump to this one, but I can't get behind it. I actually realized the book that... You're an ass. I swear. Have kids, I said. I also realized... Are we done? I'll remember that when you're filming your school project. Go ahead, Dylan. Don't you have creme brulee to make?
Making orders down there.
Ah! Ah! Go ahead, film a little scene. Film a little silly creme brulee scene. Ah! I'll start squawking.
I don't even have my camera
in the background. Oh, well, I'll remember that when I come upstairs and you're filming
okay.
for your school project. What is that? Why is it downstairs? Are you using both of our kitchens?
Put it in the freezer.
The next book that I was
I'm done.
Thank you. I'd appreciate that. The next book that I was going to read on my Kindle, I actually realized I own physically as well. So Barbarian Mind by Ruby Dixon. This is an alien romance, like a monster romance. So it still counts. And this is book 4, I think, in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. And if you have been on this channel for a while, you know my deep and unabiding love for the Ice Planet Barbarian series because it's just an entertaining, little silly, good, smutty time. And they read so incredibly quickly. You can clear your brain and just do what you love, which is reading, without taking it too seriously. This says a woman finds herself on an ice planet where she meets a savage stranger who takes her captive and claims her as his own. Despite his barbarian ways, she finds herself craving and hungering for more. I'm going to say this. Don't go into the Ice Planet Barbarian books looking for like a literary masterpiece. They're just fun. So looking at my options for romance, I think I'm going to eliminate Final Offer first. This book is pretty chunky. And I don't know, it's just not as exciting as the other ones to me for some reason right now. I mean, I want to read it and I'm a huge Disney World fan, but I don't know why it's just not calling to me by the pool in June right now. Maybe it will. Maybe I'll change my mind. I also think I'm going to eliminate Hot House Flower. Like I said, Reich and Daisy, I don't love the dynamic in their relationship, and I just don't feel like I want to deal with that this month. Because if it's anything like Ricochet, it will really frustrate me. So yeah, we're going to eliminate that one. So we are between Blackshot and Barbarian Mind. I think you guys know what I'm going to do. Barbarian Mind by Ruby Dixon. It has been several months. Has it been over 6 months since I read Barbarian Lover, which I think was the third one, and I'm ready to dive back into it, and I fly through these so quickly. So for our genre romance, we are putting Barbarian Mind on our TBR. So looking at my list, we have to do the emoji, the smiley face, and the prompt blurbed by a 5-star author. Okay, I think I'm going to do blurbed by a 5-star author because I've been thinking about this in my head. The only easy way to do this is to pull a couple of books that I'm kind of interested in reading this month and seeing who they're blurbed by and then cross-referencing my 5-star reads. So let me go search through my shelves and try to find a book, like a couple books that I'm interested in, and then see if they're even blurbed at all. So it turns out that blurbs aren't really done that much anymore, which I just learned in the last 25 minutes that I searched through every single book on my shelf. But then I also went through a bunch of books in my ARCs on NetGalley and on my Kindle. And I couldn't find anything that was specifically blurbed by a 5-star author. And that is partially because I've kind of screwed myself here. I am incredibly stingy with 5-star ratings. I feel like in the last 2 years, I've only had like 5-star books. So I couldn't find anything with those specific 5 people. However, I think I got pretty close. So we are going to put Silver Elite by Dani Francis on our TBR because it is blurbed by Allie Hazelwood, which I read Bride, which was her foray into like a megaverse vampire fantasy romance, and I gave it a 4.5 stars. So it's a 5 on Goodreads, but then in my little comments, I wrote 4.5. There's no way to give half stars on Goodreads. So this is the closest I'm going to get. And Allie said, the adult dystopian romance I've been wanting to read, absolutely obsessed. So that is high praise for Silver Elite. And I've been hearing so much chatter about this. We'll talk about that at the end when we're going through. But for right now, for my blurbed by a 4.5 star author, we are putting Silver Elite by Dani Francis. Which means the last book we need to pick is a book that somehow, in some way, to me, incorporates the smiley face. Happy Place would have been a good one for this. However, I already read that. So we have to go and figure this out. This is so broad. The smiley face could really be anything. So Let's go see if we can incorporate joy, happy, but it also could just be a book that brings me joy and happiness. So this could really be anything. Is this essentially a wild pick? I think so. There was a process to finding this book. Let me give you a little insight. I went and I searched all of my shelves, and then I also did a search on my Kindle books on Goodreads for the words happy, smile, joy, laughter, excitement. And I did come up with a couple, but none that like I needed to gravitate to. One was a YA book called like One Happy Summer, and the other one was Julie Olivia's new book called If It Makes You Happy, but neither of those were really calling to me. Julie Olivia's book, If It Makes You Happy, this one, it sounded a bit more interesting than the other one, but it's brand new and it's $11 on Kindle right now, and I'm just not paying $11 for this. So I'm going to wait for that one to go on sale, and it just wasn't like, it's not calling to me enough. So then I started thinking, okay, so let's figure out series or books or authors that are like a warm hug when you come back to them, that just make you happy. And there is no series that makes me happier than Harry Potter. This is everything to me. Harry Potter is my favorite movies, my favorite books of all time. And I was just talking to my boys the other day how it was a summer tradition for me, basically my entire adolescent life, to read the Harry Potter series every single summer. The first day of summer, I would start at book 1, and by the end of the summer, I was completely all the way through book 7. And I haven't done it in so long. And I was just telling them on the way to Stop and Shop the other day that I really think I want to do it again. So I think that the smiley face emoji coming up and telling me to find a book that brings me joy and happiness is just further affirming that I need to reread the Harry Potter series again this summer. So what better way than to put Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone in this adorable sprayed edge edition onto the TBR as our last book. We do, however, still have one book that is going on our TBR, and that is our Homey and Homely Book Club's book for June. If you don't know what this is, if this is the first time you're hearing of it, I do run a book club over on the Fable app. It's called the Homey and Homely Book Club, and every single month we do 2 votes. We do a vote for the genre, and then we do a book for a vote in... We do a book for a vote. We do a vote for a book within the genre that won. Talking has apparently not gotten any easier over the last couple of hours. The Fable app and our book club is 100% free at all times, and every single month I get at least a few messages on Instagram asking me, how do I join your book club? It's really easy. You just go to whatever app program you use to download apps on your Android or Apple device, find the Fable app, and then go ahead and join Homey and Homely. Like I said, it's completely for free. We're about 460 members strong. We have a blast, and we did go ahead and select Shield of Sparrows by Daphne Perry as our book for June to read together. This book is going to be broken down by the chapter. We have weekly reading goals, and we discuss every chapter together over in the Fable app. So this is the last book going on our June TBR. So here it is. Here are our books for June. Let's do a quick recap of what we picked. Spin 1 sent us over to Shelf 19, and Surrey picked The Witch Collector by Charissa Weeks. Like I said, I don't exactly know what this is about, and I'm really not interested in reading the entire back. So I've been living off of the Amazon AI like blurbs. So this says, Rhaena Bloodgood seeks revenge against the Frost King and Witch Collector who took her sister, but must ally with Alexis Thibault to save her sister while unexpected feelings develop. It says, every harvest moon, the Witch Collector rides into our valley and leads one of us to the home of the immortal Frost King to remain forever. Today is that day, collecting day. But he will not come for me. I, Rhaena Bloodgood, have lived in this village for 24 years, and for all that time he has passed me by, his mistake. So kind of similar to like Heartless Hunter vibes, like Witch and Witch Hunter. Sounds pretty good. A Witchwalker novel. Spin number 2 got us the author last wheel, and we needed to select an author with the last name E, and we are going with The Princess and the Pack by Fallon English. Like I said, this is like a spicy Omegaverse, kind of like Wide Shoes, I believe, book. And I think it sounds like multiple love interests and possibly forced marriage. I'm not really sure. It's like Alpha Omega. If you look on Goodreads, it has it as Omegaverse, Reverse Harem, Fantasy Romance, Romantasy, Forced Proximity, Fantasy Romance, Paranormal, Adult. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know. Our third spin sent us to shelf 13 and selected Shadow and Bone by Leigh Bardugo. This is a cult favorite, but I've heard that the duology that comes after this trilogy is a little better. I think this one is much more YA, and I think Six of Storms gets a little bit more new adult, if I understand correctly. However, there is a television series out for this that I do want to watch. It says, this follows our main female character, Alina Starkov, who discovers magical powers and rises from a frightened girl to a leader in a world of luxury, illusion, and mounting threats to Ravka. I'm assuming Ravka is their world. It says that our main female character, Alina, discovers her dormant powers and is swept up in a world of luxury and illusion. As Alina struggles to fit into her new life, a threat to the kingdom of Ravka grows, one that will test old alliances and challenge the very limits of magic, one that will forge a leader from a frightened girl. Spin number 4 had us spin our 25 and 25 wheel, and it selected Beartown by Frederick Bachman. Would I have picked June for this book? Probably not. However, I've been so intrigued by Frederick Bachman's works that I think I can get past that and read it because I've heard it's a masterpiece. It says, in a declining forest town, a junior hockey team's national semifinals hopes are shattered when a violent act traumatizes a young girl, dividing the community and testing its moral courage. I have seen so many people read this book and cry, so I don't know if I'm so excited for that, but I've heard it's great. Spin number 5 sent us over to shelf 20 and selected ZA3, Zodiac Academy 3, The Reckoning. I'm not going to say much about this because it is the third in the series, but if you haven't read Zodiac Academy, this is about our 2 female characters. They're twin sisters, and they have been sent to a magical academy where they learn that they are heirs to the throne. However, the main male characters in this do not want to abdicate their power, and it gets a little bullyish. Spin number 6 sent us over to shelf 9, and we got Anatomy, a Love Story. I am so intrigued by this book. I know next to nothing about it, but I've heard really great things about it. I've heard it's pretty gothic and morbid, but besides for that, I don't know much. It says it's a gothic tale full of mystery and romance. Hazel Sinnett is a lady who wants to be a surgeon more than she wants to marry. Jack Currer is a resurrection man who's just trying to survive in a city where it's too easy to die. When the two of them have a chance encounter outside the Royal Edinburgh and why can't I say this word? Anatomists Society, Hazel thinks nothing of it at first, but after she gets kicked out of renowned surgeon Dr. Beechman's lectures for being the wrong gender, she realizes that her new acquaintance might be more helpful than she first thought, because Hazel has made a deal with Dr. Beechman. If she can pass the medical examination on her own, he will allow her to continue her medical career. Without official lessons, though, Hazel will need more than just her books. She'll need corpses to study. Luckily, she's made the acquaintance of someone who digs them up for a living. But Jack has his own problems. Strange men have been skulking around cemeteries, his friends are disappearing off the streets, and the dreaded Roman fever, which wiped out thousands a few years ago, is back with a vengeance. Nobody important cares until Hazel. Now Hazel and Jack must work together to uncover the secrets buried not just in an unmarked grave, but in the very heart of Edinburgh society. It sounds really good. Spin number 7 had us spin for a book off of my KU library, and we're going to go with The Coven. I do own it physically, but it also is in my KU library, so it counts. I have been wanting to read this book for so long, and I'm so glad that the wheel is going to push me to do it. This says, a student enters Hallows Grove University seeking revenge, confronting the hostile headmaster Thorne while uncovering dark secrets about a bloody massacre as 13 chosen students face supernatural threats. Considering it's called The Coven, I'm going to go ahead and assume there's some sort of witchcraft in here. The last spins before our wild, spin number 8 selected The Wind Weaver. This is the Fairy Loot exclusive Romantasy edition. It is a really gorgeous edition. It does have these gorgeous character end papers and the beautiful digitally printed hardcover. It is a really gorgeous edition. I admittedly will probably be reading it on my Kindle because I did receive the ARC of this as well. So I probably, I try to not read my special editions. I don't know much about this. It says, a prophecy reignited, a storm unleashed, a love that could shatter everything. Is this a little bit more like epic romantasy? I have to be honest with you, this book has the entire inside jacket cover of summary, and I can't be bothered to read it. So it says, a young woman embarks on a perilous journey to restore magic and save her realm while navigating a dangerous romance with a mysterious commander. Okay. Magic and adventure swirl through this spellbinding romantasy where a young woman reignites the embers of an ancient prophecy, unleashing a storm that could save her realm or doom them all. But mastering the power inside her is only the beginning. Desire for the commander, a man she can never trust, a man with plans of his own, burns just as fiercely as the tempests beating against her ribcage for release. Raya must choose, smother the flames or let them consume her. A heart-racing, action-packed, swoon-inducing fantasy. Okay, let's see what we think about this. This actually is kind of a big book as well. Like, it's long, over 500 pages, so we will see. This next one is the Kindle Spin, which was our first wild, and it selected Running from the Prince. And I have no idea what that is, but we will put it up here. This is the cover. Immediately looks a little interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and assume just on the cover that this is romance. It says Running from the Prince, a royal sweet romance. Princes of Valdoria, Book 1. Okay. A princess in disguise, a prince in search of a bride, and a second chance at love. Will their secrets and past mistakes keep them apart, or will they find their happily ever after? I need a queen, I wanted her until she ran. Prince Theo Kane has always known duty comes first. As Crown Prince of Valdoria, his priorities have been country and family above all, and that's always been easy for him, until duty and the queen demand that he find a wife. However, he already tried proposing to the one woman he really wants, but she left him behind. Alex Turner, aka Princess Alexandra Torre, fought her way to the top of the world's most prestigious photography course. Okay. As long as no one figures out who she really is, her dream of becoming a photographer on Jacques Ludo's renowned crew is within her grasp. Nothing is going to hold her back, including her pesky feelings for a certain swoon-worthy royal. When Theo and Alex's paths collide, old feelings are reunited and those family feelings have burned them. Fool him once, shame on her, fool him twice. I'm not so sure about this one, guys. Not so sure. Oh, it's only 230 pages. So it's not quite a novella. It's like a short romance. Do we do like one or two other Kindle spins and see if we could get something better? I'm conflicted on what to do because on the one hand, that doesn't sound like something I'm super prioritizing for June. It does kind of sound like a cute short little book to read around the pool. But at the same time, there's so much good stuff on my Kindle. So should we maybe do like one or two other Kindle spins? And here's the thing, if none of those sound any better, we could always go back to Running from the Prince and keep that. But just to see like our options. I didn't use all of my vetoes this month, so I feel like I can be a little liberal here. So let's go ahead and pull up my Kindle spin. Here it is. I'm just going to do two or three random spins. I'll say yes or no, depending on what it is. Thistlefoot? No. I don't want to read that in the summer. I want to read that in the fall. That's like a horror fantasy, I think. No, wait, it's like a fairy tale fantasy. The Maidens. This is by Alex Michaelides. No, this is like dark academia, literary fiction, like very analytical. Don't want to read that. Dragonborn. Don't want to read that. Last spin. Last spin, and then we're going to stick where we are. Do I do another Kindle Unlimited spin? Here's the thing, that is kind of like unfair because everything on Kindle Unlimited is something I want to read. So I fear that if I do a Kindle Unlimited spin, I'm absolutely going to pick that one because those are curated to what I want to read. And that kind of defeats the purpose of the Kindle spin. So that one didn't count. I'm not going to cheat that bad. I feel like that's really cheating. Claimed by the Alien Outlaw. This is another alien, like monster romance. Okay, let's go pull that one up. And we have those two very different books to decide on. Here is that book. This is Claimed by the Alien Outlaw. This is The Outlaws of Deep Space, Book 1. More, once again, like smutty, I'm assuming, alien romance. It says, a woman is abducted by aliens and left on a strange planet where she meets a man who is willing to risk everything for a chance at a future with her. This is also 220 pages. Interesting. So they're both similar lengths. And guess what? I don't think this is super spicy. It says people like its readability, story quality, character development, series quality, writing quality, sweetness, world building, and humor. Okay. These two options. Shockingly, I think I'm going to stay with Running from the Prince. I want to read the other one, but they're both very similar. This one's 230 pages. This one is 220 pages. This is royalty. This is alien, but both are described as sweet romances, and Claimed by the Outlaw is just a little too similar sounding to Ice Planet Barbarians, which I already have on my TBR, so at least Running from the Prince gives us a little bit of variety, so shockingly enough, I'm gonna stay where I am. Our 10th spin, second wild spin, gave us the emoji wheel, and we got this cute little smiley face, and I chose to interpret that as a book that brings me joy and happiness, and there really is no other option but Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. This is the book that brings me the ultimate happiness. I'm obsessed with Harry Potter. I'm not even gonna bother describing it. It's about Harry Potter who finds out that he's a wizard after he's left with his horrible aunt and uncle who treat him badly, and goes to Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry. If you haven't heard of Harry Potter, like, what are you doing? There's no helping you at this point. Go read Harry Potter. Wild spin number 3 gave me the genre wheel, and it told us we had to pick a romance, and I am going with an alien romance with Barbarian Mine. This is book 4 in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, which I have really loved, and they're good, like, palate cleanser, entertaining, brain-numbing reads that I have just flown through and really enjoyed. This book follows Harlow and Rook. It says Harlow receives the shock of her life when she wakes up to see Rook, a stranger who has clearly been on his own for most of his life, but she soon learns that there is a much more to this gruff savage than meets the eye. I have really, really liked this series, but you have to like spice, you have to like smut, and you can't think too hard about it. And the last spin gave us the prompt spin, and it told us to pick a book prompted by a 5-star author. I could not quite get it exactly, but I did find a book blurbed by a 4.5-star author, and I said that's good enough. Allie Hazelwood wrote the blurb for Silver Elite by Danny Francis, and I am so excited for this book. I actually was lucky enough to receive the ARC of this, so I will be reading it on my Kindle. It says it's the first book of a sizzling dystopian romance series. Psychic gifts are a death sentence, and there are rules to survival. Trust no one, lie to everyone, and whatever you do, don't fall for your greatest enemy. Allie Hazelwood herself blurbed it and said, Danny Francis wrote the adult dystopian romance I've been wanting to read for the longest time. I'm absolutely obsessed, and I need the next book in the series injected into my veins right now. How amazing of a blurb is that? Now, if you haven't been following like the hoopla about this book, it has been widely reported that Danny Francis is actually a pen name, and it has been suggested that this was actually written by a very famous author. There's really not an explanation as to why he or she wouldn't have just written it under her or his own name, and why they chose to write it under a pen name. But the internet has been aflame with trying to figure out who Danny Francis is, and there's been like little clues dropped along the way. I think it's been relatively confirmed that this is a Canadian author, and go and look into it, like, because I don't want to say too much, but my best guess, and the ones that have been most, like the theories that have been most convincing to me, is that this is Elsie Silver, maybe? Drop a comment below if you're like in and you know, and you could give me all the info, and then tell me who you think this is. But all the info that I've gotten leads me to believe this may be Elsie Silver, but that's the hot topic right now in romantasy. Who is Danny Francis? Tell me in the comments. And last but not least, we have our Homey and Homely book club read for June, and that is Shield of Sparrows by Devney Perry. This is a slow burn, high stakes romantasy where enemies become lovers, monsters stalk a cursed realm, and a forgotten princess finds the strength to tear off her crown and become the warrior she was never meant to be. So this was published by Red Tower. They have been doing some absolute romantasy bangers. They did Fourth Wing. They've done a ton of other hugely popular book talk books. So I've heard that this is just as amazing, and this is Devney Perry's first romantasy. She usually does straight romance, so I'm excited to read this. And that's it, guys. Those are all the books we selected for June. We have the greatest lineup for June ever, and that's amazing because I usually do my best reading in June. I like opening the pool. I like putting my noise-canceling headphones on. I like sitting in my pool chairs. I love reading in the sun. I love going to the beach. The kids are out from school. We still run around like crazy people, but the point is it's just slightly more relaxing because it's nice out and I get to sit by the pool. If you have made it this entire way, you know that I have to do a Harry Potter related one. So comment the wand or the owl emoji to show that you've made it the whole way, because obviously the wand for Harry and obviously the owl for arguably the best character in Harry Potter, Hedwig, who my car is named after, Hedwig. And then go ahead and do all the things that you are so professional at doing, like, comment, subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye, guys.